Yes, my name is Leo Perez, doing the History of Computing Technology Screencast assignment, Alternative History. This assignment will be recorded using the QuickTime Player screen recording and the QuickTime Player movie recording, which is just letting you see me. But I will be doing this assignment on Nintendo and how they brought faith back to video games after the 1983 video game crash. Few facts about the video game crash. The Atari had an attitude of more the merrier, meaning they were just having a lot of people make video games and they weren't able to control what was being made. It was just whatever they make, here you go, and that's all you're going to get. So it was really bad. They made games like Pac-Man, which was actually a consumer product that was made out of a prototype. That's it. Took the prototype, sent it to the customers. Also, E.T., a video game that had 6 weeks from beginning to end in development. That's it. And that was because it was being rushed. And that was one of the major issues. Everybody lost faith in the industry because you buy a game, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a really bad game because it was rushed. Another little highlighted part, just saying about how it was in a free fall and everyone was predicting the end of gaming. Which, yeah, you keep buying bad games, you're going to lose faith. Now another little tab I have here is about the 10NES lockout chip, which is the Nintendo's lockout chip that was used to regulate games being made for the Nintendo. This was huge because it gave direct control to Nintendo as to what games would be developed and be able to be played on their system. You couldn't have halfway done games. You couldn't have really rushed games. If you did, chances were Nintendo wasn't going to allow you to produce that game and play it on the NES. So, a couple of highlighted points, just like before. Nintendo needed to develop a method to ensure they would have direct control over any game released on their system. Yes, because otherwise, it's just, you don't have control, you don't know what they're playing on your system, and you don't want to have another video game crash. That's what caused the first one. A little more about the 10NES chip is that it was a 4-pin DPI microprocessor, and it was released because of the video game crash, and they did it specifically to send it to US and Europe. This was Nintendo's big move. Before this, it was only in Japan. So let's go ahead and make this an alternative history now, and think about this. What if they didn't develop that 10NES chip so that they weren't able to regulate what was played on the NES? Now you're going to have this same issue over again, just like the first time. You're going to have developers making really bad games, and everyone's going to lose faith, just like they did the first time. So it would create a second crash. I mean, what if that happened? Then no longer is anyone going to give video game consoles another chance. They're gone. They're done. We wouldn't have video game consoles today. Any games you'd play today would probably be on your computer, because without that chip is what saved video game consoles. That chip is what allowed only good games to be played on Nintendo, as opposed to all of the really bad third-party games. It's all about that one thing. And it was a decision that was made after the initial development. They had already had the NES out in Japan. It was called the Famicom, which was a family computer. And it's just, the world would be very different if it wasn't for that one decision. I mean, yeah, they had some great titles. This is one of them. I love these two games. But what about all of the bad ones that would have been able to be produced? And that's the difference. Here is a small bibliography for the 2 pages that I used before. I hope you enjoyed this, And again, my name's Leo Perez. Just remember, it only takes one decision. The world can be very different.